In a quiet village where people rarely looked up from their daily lives, a wise old sage wandered from place to place, spreading kindness and wisdom. One day, a talking parrot in a cage gave him a strange message to deliver, one that would unlock a secret of freedom not through strength, but through cleverness. One hot afternoon, as the old sage passed by a hunter's hut, he heard a voice calling out to him. It was a bright green parrot, trapped in a small wooden cage. "Old sage," the parrot cried, "if you ever go deep into the forest and meet a group of wild parrots, please tell them that I'm stuck in this cage. Tell them I remember them and miss them a lot." The old sage nodded gently and said, "I will carry your message, little one." Days passed as the old sage traveled far and wide, crossing hills and rivers. One morning, he saw a group of parrots sitting on the branches of a large, leafy tree. They were chirping and playing, free and happy. The old sage stopped and raised his voice. "Your friend who once flew with you is now in a cage. He sends his love and says he misses you all deeply." Suddenly, one of the parrots on the tree stopped moving. It dropped from the branch and lay still on the ground. The other parrots were shocked. The old sage, though surprised, said nothing. He bowed his head and quietly walked on. A few days later, the old sage returned to the hunter's hut. The parrot in the cage saw him and rushed to the bars, fluttering his wings. "Old sage, did you meet them? Did you tell them my message?" "Yes," the old sage replied softly. "I did. But after hearing your message, one of your friends fell from the tree and died." Hearing this, the parrot inside the cage began to tremble. He shook his wings wildly, made a loud noise, and then suddenly dropped to the floor of the cage, completely still. The hunter, thinking the parrot had died, opened the cage door and gently picked up the parrot. But as soon as the parrot was out, he suddenly opened his eyes, stretched his wings, and flew up into the sky. He landed safely on a tree nearby. The hunter stood frozen in shock. The old sage smiled and said, "Sometimes, freedom doesn't come from force. It comes from wisdom, patience, and a clever plan. True freedom doesn't always come from strength or force, it often comes from wisdom, patience, and using the mind wisely. When we stay calm and think clearly, even the hardest situations can be solved." Just like the parrot, we must learn to be clever and wait for the right moment to act. In life, smart thinking and inner strength can open doors that force never could.